Hello YouTube, I'm this guy, and I'm going to bring you guys a deck profile of my Blue Eyes White Dragon Nightmare deck, OTK, because it does OTK, that's the goal of this deck, the main objective. I'm going to be taking this to my regional, or not my regionals, my local tournament this weekend to have some fun, because I do see the fun in this deck, and I think it can compete, so we'll see. Once I give you guys my local tournament report, I will definitely tell you guys if it's competitive or not. But starting off with the Chaos Max Dragon, one of the two cards that I need for my OTK. Him not being able to get targeted by card effects, also him being able to not be destroyed by my opponent's card effects, makes him a really strong card, a really good boss monster. So the objective here is I don't have to worry about infinite imperiences. I don't have to worry about ogres. I don't have to worry about any hand traps whatsoever with this card. So that's why I decided to choose him as the boss monster, because I'm figuring out little by little now that a lot of cards now are targeting. So if you can't target my cards, your deck becomes not so good. So that's why I chose the Max Dragon. So 3 Max Dragons, and then the 3 Manjus to search the Max Dragon and the Ritual spell. Right now I'm not running Chaos Form, but I do want to run Chaos Form because that is the better Ritual spell in this deck. But for now I'm running the contract with Anubis, or by Anubis, so that's temporary. But yeah, 3 Manjus for searching. Next, I run the King of D 3. This is so I can put a body on board, and also it gives me Melody, because that's the only search card I have in my deck for this card. With this and Melody, I have 2 monsters on board. That means I can link summon into my nightmares. So 3 King of Ds, and that's why I run 3, because I need a body on board. Next, the OG monster of the deck, the vanilla monster, Blue Eyes White Dragon. I got very creative with this deck, so I'm running the alternative. So with alternative, I do need these 3 to summon alternative. And then next, the alternative itself. Super expensive card for what it's supposed to do, but you know, it is what it is. Anyways, I use this card mainly for spot removal. The effect of being able to destroy a monster on field is really good. Yeah, I can attack with it, but 90% of the time I'm not even attacking with him. I'm link summoning to get into my nightmare plays. So I don't even ever attack with this guy, ever. Rarely do I attack with him. So, like I said, I mainly use him just for monster placement for nightmares, and also for spot removal. Next, I run the Ancients. Where this deck's weakness is I discard a lot for my nightmares. I discard for my King of D's. I discard for Melodies. So I'm like always going negative with this deck. So I put the Ancients in here because I do not run Synchros. So it's not because it's a tuner or anything like that. It's because I can use it as a discard fodder to replace itself. So I need a lot of cards in my deck that I'm able to discard to replace itself, so I don't go negative when I discard. So I run 3 Ancients, same with this next card. The 1 Stones of Legends, I might bump this up to 2, because like I said, I need more cards in my deck that I'm able to discard and replace itself, and this is what this card does. I can discard it to grab a Blue Eyes White Dragon from deck, so like I said, I need a lot of cards in my deck that can replace itself when I discard it, because I do discard a lot. Next, the 1 Spirit of White. This card is just here for the simple fact it's a trade-in target, and if I need to, I can banish a back row card, and also I can protect myself. If I'm not able to OTK that turn, I can just throw him on board with Ancients and then be able to survive at least for 1 more turn. So that's why I threw him in here, because there will be times where I'm not able to OTK because I just don't have the right hand. So I need something in my deck that's able to protect myself. So that's why I threw this in here. Next, the other card that makes this OTK possible, the 3 Knightmare Corruptor Ibeli. Ibeli is really, really good in this deck. The OTK is real with this deck here. And he makes it really, really possible because I can throw him on my opponent's side of the field and then attack him with Max Dragon and that's game. Not a lot of decks could actually stop that, surprisingly. I played a couple of few meta decks here and there online with this deck, and I'm seeing a lot of success with that combo because a lot of decks don't run like battle traps or anything like that, or battle hand traps or anything, so they have a difficult time trying to stop this from happening. So yeah, and then I also run the Desires. That's why I run 3. I probably would run only 1 or 2 because it's really not necessary to run 3, but since I do run the Desires, I do not want to be able to banish it, so I need to at least have 1 copy in deck. Next, I do run the 2 Kaijus. Kaiju's really good in this deck because I need to be able to remove a monster if it's able to negate my stuff, because I do lose to negations a lot, like Vortex Dragons and stuff. So I need to be able to get that Vortex Dragon off the board. So Gamma Seal does that for me, and also if he is a level 8, so he's a trade-in target. So if I'm not needing my Gamma Seal, I can always just trade it off and get 2 cards with trade-in. And then next and final, the Perform Mage NG, 3 Hat Trickers, the 1 Trick Clown, and then the 1 Damage Juggler. This is only for the Trickstar matchup. Damage Juggler is really good in the Trickstar matchup because if they try and reincarnate me and I have this in hand, I can discard it and negate the activation of it and destroy it. So they can't get their reincarnation off with this card in my hand. The Perform Mage Hat Tricker, he's just a body on board, and he also stops effects from happening. So if they have Light Stage on field, I can actually abuse the Light Stage myself, because every time when that Light Stage goes off, I can put a counter on this card, and if he gets 3, it becomes a 3300. There was one game I actually had all 3 of these on board, and I did 9900, and that was game, because I kept abusing the Light Stage. I kept just forcing the Light Stage to go off, because they had Canadian, so it was really good. And then the the Trick Clown's only in my deck because, as I said, I discard a lot, so I wanted to be able to discard stuff without going negative. And if I discard Trick Clown, I don't go negative. So that's the purpose of me running just the Trick Clown. And if I have the Hat Tricker on board with the Trick Clown going off, I can actually special summon him without taking the effect, which is really cool. That's it for the monsters here. I am monster heavy because I need to have my monsters to be able to get my nightmares off. Next, for the spells, I run the 3 Dragon Lords. Dragon Lords is really, really good. It's a monster reborn for me, so it puts a body on board so I can go into my nightmares. You're going to be hearing me a lot say that because I do rely on my Nightmare NG. It also protects my dragons from being destroyed. So if they hit like a Torrential Tribute on me, or if they hit like a Dark Hole or Raigeki, I can just banish this to protect my dragons. So it has multiple purposes, but the main purpose of me putting this in the deck was just so I can have a body on board, and that's the only purpose. Next, the should be Chaos forms, but they're not, sadly. But this does what it's supposed to do, which is bring out Chaos Max, which is the contract with the Abyss. Like I said, it should be Chaos form, but it brings out Max. That's all that matters. And since I do want to see my combo pieces a lot, I run the 2 Melodies because I do want to be able to see the alternatives and the Max Dragons. This can search both, so depending on my hand, depending on the situation, that will all depend on what I grab with this card, because I do have multiple targets. It's not just Blue Eyes White Dragon and alternative. I do have that Max Dragon now in this deck, so definitely would recommend that 2. 3 does get too cloggy. And like I said, for the King of D's, the reason why I run 3 instead of 2 is because that 3rd one doesn't become dead, because I can always link it off with a link monster. Next, the 2 Call by the Graves. I do lose to Ash. That's the only hand trap I am afraid of. So Ash is running around because of the Trickstar Sky Striker deck, because that card is actually sort of decent. So people are opting to run the Ash now. So now since I'm seeing a lot more Ash in decks, I'm starting to main the Call by the Graves just so I don't get Ash, because Ash hurts. Next, the 2 Allures. These would be trade-ins if I was running the Chaos form. Because I am not running in Chaos form, I'd rather have just the draw power and get rid of my dead cards. Once I do the Chaos form, this will be coming out for the trade-ins. But since I'm not running it, I just opt to run the Lures instead of the trade-ins. And then I run the 2 Card of Consonance because I do have 4 targets that I can discard for it and get draw power. So this is just for draw power, and that's basically it. And then next, the 1 trade-in. Like I said, once I get the Chaos forms, this will be going to 3. But since I'm running the Card of Anubis, I do need my 8 stars in my hand, at least 1. So trade-in is actually perfect at 1 in this deck. But like I said, Chaos form comes in my deck, then this will be going to 3, because then I don't care if it's in my grave or not. And I need that draw power. Next, I do run the 2 Pot of Desires, and I severely hate this card, but unfortunately in this deck it is needed because I need to be able to draw into my combo pieces as fast as possible. So just the 2 Desires. And then I run the 1 Upstart Goblin. This is a 50 card deck, and people are probably wondering why I'm running Upstart in a 50 card deck. It is for consistency, but I can also side this out and not lose consistency because it's not really it's an easy side out card, and that's where this deck falls to. Is there's not really too much I can take out without hurting the consistency in my deck. So I needed to be able to put something in my deck to where it can help my deck, and also if I need to side out a card without hurting my deck. So this is one of the cards here: the Upstart, the Red Geki, and then the Dark Hole. These 3 cards are basically my up the side cards, so I can side these out easily without hurting the consistency in my deck, or also hurting my deck in general. And sometimes, if I need to, I do take out the Pot of Desires as a side out, because it doesn't really hurt the consistency in my deck. Because rarely do I ever see myself needing the Pot of Desires late game, so I'd rather have these be something else. It says this is just so I can get my combo pieces, like game 1, get my combo pieces as soon as possible so I can OTK, and then I could strategize in my side deck after that. And it throws them off guard. That's it for my main deck there. It is 50 cards, no traps, because I don't need traps. Next onto the extra deck here. Since I do run the Perform Mage NG, I can go into rank 4s, so I do have a few Exceeds monsters here. I run the Nutopia package, situational basically. This is so I can get over big monsters, or late game I can push for game, because his effect is really good, the lightning. And then I run the Perform Mage Trap Cheese Magician. This is simply for the Trickstar matchup, and also it is a OTK enhancer. I can OTK with this card. It just gives me another tool to use OTK if I can't get my Chaos Max OTK. So yeah, I'm not really I am relied on my Chaos Max OTK, but I also made sure to put cards in my deck, so if I don't get the OTK, then I'm not struggling. I have other ways of getting it, and the Trap Cheese is one of them. Next, I do run the 3 Mermaids. Mermaid's really good. I always see myself going into 3 because I was running 2, but then I always wish I had that 3rd one. So I finally opt just to put the 3rd one in my deck, and I never regretted it. I will always probably keep this at 3 in this deck because I always see myself needing that 3rd mermaid. Next, I do run the 2 Cerebrus. Cerebrus is only for spot removal, and it also links well with my mermaid, so I can get that draw power. But its main purpose is so I can get, it's a spot removal. I can get rid of a special summon monster off the board if I need to, if it's a problematic card for me. And then same with this next card, the Phoenix. Phoenix, spot removal for back row. And it also links up, so I can co-link it with my mermaid. Next, I do run the 1 Underclock Taker for OTK purposes. That's the only reason why this is in my deck. Like I said, I need to be able to have a way to OTK with the Max Chaos Dragon if Max Chaos Dragon does get stopped. And then I run the Link Spider, Proxy Dragon, and Deco Talker. I have no ways in my main deck to summon these besides the Proxy Dragon and Deco Talker, but at that point, if I'm able to summon these, I'm already ahead of the game anyways. So I rarely go into these. It's my side deck. I put these in there, so you'll see when you see my side deck, you'll get a better understanding of why. And then next, the one Curious. Curious is just so if my plays don't go off the way I need it to, and you're able to disrupt me. I got a card that can dump stuff in the graveyard, so I can't get my plays going again. So that's the only reason why Curious is in my deck. It's really good, and I can actually easily summon her with the Perform Mages and the other cards in my deck. It's really good. That's it for my extra deck there. Now onto my side deck, and the reason why I run these is because of back row. I don't like back row. This deck can lose to back row. So game 2 and 3, if I see that you're running a lot of back row hate on me, I definitely will be citing these in. So 3 Twin Twisters, and then same with this card, the Red Reboot, Altergeist. Since my deck is able to OTK, the Red Reboot can become clutch. And also, if you try to evenly match me, depending on my field, depending on my hand, I might actually let the evenly match go, because evenly match really doesn't affect me as long as I can keep certain cards on board. One in particular, which is the Max Dragon. My Max Dragon can stay, and you can't get rid of it, then I definitely will keep my Max Dragon and let everything else go. But this is for the, like I said, trap-heavy decks I can OTK easily, and you rely on your trap cards. So if I get Red Reboot off, it's basically I know I have game. Next, I run the 2 Dogrands, and then my 3rd Call by the Grave. When I was play testing siding, I always seen myself actually throwing the Kaijus with the Call by the Graves when I didn't have Call by the Graves in my main. So I thought it would be easier for me just to package these together, because the matchup that I put this in is the Sky Striker Pier, because this can hit Sarai, and then these put a body on board for them so they can't get their spell cards off. So that's why I just decided to run the 3rd and then 2, because it's a perfect ratio. And it's for the Sky Strikers. Oh, pure Sky Strikers, by the way, not Trick Stars. Pure Sky Strikers. Next, the 3 Effect Wheelers. This is just in case I know I can OTK and I know they have nothing. I can side these in because they'll probably have me go turn 1. A lot of the times, all the games I played, they always had me go from turn 1 because they knew what my deck was doing. So I needed something to disrupt my opponent on their turn. So that's why I decided just to run the Effect Wheelers inside them, because it's unexpected and no one will expect the Effect Wheelers. Next, the reason why I run the Link Spider, Proxy Dragon, and Deco Talker is a Scapegoat. Scapegoat's in there for protection wise, because this card has this card's so versatile. This card should be banned. I've always called it, and I probably shouldn't be using it, but I mean it's just so good, and there's a reason why it should be banned. I mean, I can use this for defensive purposes. If I'm going up against like a certain deck that I know can't OTK me, I can always, in turn flip this over, put 4 goats on field, and it basically is a free Deco Talker for me. Or Proxy Dragon too, if I need a Proxy Dragon to protect myself from back row. But yeah, 3 Scapegoat sided. That's it for my deck profile here, extra, main, and side deck. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this deck profile. If you guys did, hit that like button. Also, leave a comment below and tell me what you guys think. Maybe you guys could give me a couple of cards I could probably splash in my deck here to make it better. Love to hear you guys' thoughts on it. Also, if you guys already haven't done it, subscribe to my channel. And also hit the notification bell so you guys get notified every time I upload a video. Also, you guys can follow my Twitch channel. at this guy from 619. You know, I do Duel Link videos on there, play Duel Links on there. If you guys want to play with me, feel free to hit me up on there and follow me. I stream every once in a while. I'm gonna try and stream like 3 days a week, or yeah, 3 days a week. So definitely follow me on Twitch. And that's it for my video here. I will talk to you guys all later, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.